Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I build this Lego Space Mock. This is yet another creation that I made for Vigne Week 2022. You can find a playlist on my channel with all the previous build from the contest and one more to go. The prompt of this build was to build a vignette bigger than 16 by 16 using only classic Lego colors. So this is the color palette that we had available. White, all gray, but we could use light bluish gray because all gray is a little bit more difficult to get. Black, red, blue, yellow, and green. Of course, you can also use the transparent alternative to these ones. So this was a little bit challenging. So because of this color scheme, I decided to go again and build a space mock like other times that I did on my channel. I will link some in the description down below so you can check out other space no gravity mock that I built here on the channel. Now the first thing I started with was the base. I make it a little bit thick this time, and I wanted to add a lot of gribblings here on the side. There's not particular logic or order here. I throw in just a bunch of accessory and panels and grills to make it a little bit interesting. One of the challenge I had with having the blue as main color is that I didn't have much plates. So I had to come out with some creative solution to make this interesting. So one thing I did is first to incorporate a lot of light blue X-ray, in particularly using these sort of shield pieces that are very, very interesting. They work well in this, but they work very well, especially if you're building castles or medieval stuff. Anyway, here, because I didn't have plate, I decided to use panels, which made my gribblings a little bit more difficult because then this space is not of 2 studs anymore, but become 1 and something. So I had to find a way to fit these gribblings in there, even without much space on top. So if you can see, everything is actually connected at the bottom side and then expand a little bit on top. But this is the solution that I had to do in order to make it interesting even without the plates. Here I also added some slopes, and you can see also here how I build the floor. So again, I didn't have any tiles, big tiles in blue, so I slide in bricks on the side and they just lie down in there, and then they arrive flush with the side over here. That of course is a pretty straightforward technique, but sometimes it works. So I didn't have anything to tile, then I decided to go with bricks. Then after that I decided to build this green area. So over here I use some classic printed tiles and some of these slopes printed as well, and then I connected this half dome transparent to cover this green area. I use these round bricks to create the area, and then I try to use as much space as possible from inside here. I decided to go all with green, also that green in particular because of the color palette, with a big red accent in the middle. I use different parts, and I wanted to create a sort of effect with this green coming off the edge out of this dome. I think it's okay, but it could have done better. It could have been a little bit more organic. But again, this build has to be made in one day, so not much time to do that. After that, I decided to build the walls. So one thing I came up with, of course you can see on top, I use again some of those tiles. And here I had the idea to incorporate this horse saddle. I've been watching the Iron Builder competition where they're using a different kind of saddle for making a lot of good things, and then I came up this in my collection that is the same color that I needed for this. So I thought, how can I incorporate this? So I think this was a good place to keep this. You can easily fit in bricks to cover all the gaps, and this was also very helpful to hold this into place. Because I wanted to close this gap here, I use another one of these tiles, but then I didn't have any connection over here, and here I wanted to build sideways. Here I create two of these sort of sloped sides with grill and different details. Now I need to find a way to hold that into place. So this one came in handy because this one can connect sideways over there and then will help me to keep everything into place. A little bit more tricky was on this side, because on this side, on both sides, I have the handle for connect accessories. So I decided to run this big flexible tube going all the way. Here I can remove the astronaut. This is one of these old astronaut in yellow. I connected actually at the back of this to find the right angle for making it look like if it's in a no gravity setup. Over here I use a bit of slopes to go inward the wall and make it a little bit more interesting, and again some classic printed tiles and slopes. Over here, if you can see this slide in a little bit, I was rushing, so I didn't connect actually this one, but if you can see at the back side, I basically just use some hinges and then slide it in. From the side, when this is open, I can slide it in. It's still a bit wobbly, but it can have a little recess inside. Of course, with more time to work on this, we can tune a little bit all these fine details and make sure that everything is solid and not moving around like this. But that will take a little bit more time, while, as I said, this has to be built in one day. Here I added some of these tubing to create a little bit more interesting details, while on this side I wanted to create some sort of sleeping quarters for the astronauts. We have two astronauts, and I decided to go one in yellow for the main one and one in red for the other one that is actually sleeping. So here I use some slopes. Here I try to give a little bit of different slopes so that it looks like the astronaut is actually under the blanket sleeping, and there we can see the sleeping face. And also I added a few printed tiles, one post-it over there, one with the time over there, and some grill there. That my idea was to make it look like some sort of little locker where they can store their belongings. These are actually on some Technic parts to give an angle. Here is a non-gravity situation, so it doesn't really matter which side are they sleeping, which direction they're sleeping. So here I have some Technic bricks with pins that allow me to slide this down. The tricky part was that I had to cover the wall at the back, so I just added some brackets and then add some extra plates to make sure that from the main point of view, when I take the picture from the front, there cannot be seen, no gaps can be seen. Now let's put back the astronaut together. Fun fact about this build, I'm not super happy about it, honestly. I think for this contest I made at least a couple of more interesting builds. This one actually ended up in the top 10 of that day 5. So this was one of the top 5 builds of the day. Even though I'm not super happy about it, I think that my Sushi Chef was way better. The microscale Cyberpunk City was pretty good as well. And also soon I will show you the last one that you can see on screen now. I think that one was better and had a lot of nice comments. But anyway, little highlight of my contest. This one got in the top 10. And next time I will show you the last very interesting and fun build that I made for the contest. Let me know what you think about in the comment down below about this build and about the previous one. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.